What's going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today is another interesting day for Lucid. I want to go over some of the data points, some of the latest updates, including what might be coming out at least in the short term. So I'm going to go over all that. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So currently it is down 1.16%. I did have a low of 667 first thing, so there was a little bit more of a sell-off, but it wasn't specific to Lucid. The broader EV market was kind of bad, unfortunately. But yet in pre-market, I'll just quickly show you, pre-market was very solid actually. I think it was up almost 3% pre-market. But when it comes down to it, a little bit lower for volume. So 33 million for volume, 57 is the average. So it's kind of making up a little bit of room. So I'm going to touch on some of the data points as well, what they are all saying. At the time of doing this video, there is no press releases, no SEC filings, nothing along those lines specific to Lucid. But one thing I just wanted to bring up. So when I was looking under Lucid's website, under the upcoming events, I noticed this one. So between August the 14th and 18th, it says Lucid Air Tour 𝗪𝗪𝗧, which as far as I am aware, they were not actually doing any tours outside of the States. So for them to actually go to Germany for 4 days, I think that's going to be a fairly good thing. And as well, I don't see any additional kind of tours or locations other than 𝗪𝗪𝗧, because going over here, looking at, for instance, the map of Lucid Studios and so forth, I do feel that this is a very good opportunity for them to really spread the whole word of mouth, because in Q2, this is where they started to deliver a significant amount of vehicles on an international scale. So obviously to Saudi Arabia and to Europe, and maybe some other locations, but I do feel that this is going to be a very big thing for Lucid. So hopefully they do continue this tour, because like I said, they haven't really advertised that as far as I'm aware about 𝗪𝗪𝗧 or anything else. So hopefully, like I said, they do continue that a little bit further, especially considering as well in Q4, I do believe 2023, this is where they planned on at least having their debut in the UK. So they've already admitted, saying, I think that was in the Q4 2022 earnings, where they did say that they're going to be configuring a Lucid Air for UK driving. So of course, right hand or the steering wheel on the right hand side. So of course, I think that is a fairly good thing. So for them to actually continue this tour and maybe even kind of move it to London or around the UK, I think that would be absolutely perfect of an opportunity right now, especially with the Q4 kind of launch around that. So once again, let me know you guys' thoughts on that. When it comes down to as far as them showcasing their technology, there was one thing that did come up that unfortunately, it wasn't really coming up for Lucid per se, but it says right here, so game-changing EV battery technology, a webinar held through Reuters, and that's going to be held on July the 27th at 10 a.m. Eastern. And this came up surprisingly under Rivian News, because they have a speaker right here, but oddly enough, as does Lucid, just under their event section and everywhere else, there's no actual indication of them kind of speaking. So once again, I think this is something that is going to be very, very good for Lucid. Just them marketing this is not necessarily the best, which this is one thing that I actually did and have brought up in the past numerous times, is just them marketing is just not been good. Luckily enough, Jeff Curry, who was the VP, I think, of marketing and communications, has since left Lucid. But as far as this, I was under the impression that the new individual, I can't remember their name at the top of my head, but he's been doing a fairly good job. So adopted the whole Lucid website to, I guess, make it look a lot more modern and kind of showcase their technology a little bit better. But in general, they should not be missing out on opportunities to kind of have free marketing, if that makes sense, because all they have to do is just speak. They're speaking regardless. This individual, Warren Van Noos, which I guess former director of engineering, Lucid Technologies, and EV consultant. So I don't know, Lucid Technologies, maybe that's just not the right wording. That's kind of hitting the mark potentially, I'm not sure. So let me know you guys' thoughts on that. So once again, I think this is going to be a fairly good thing for Lucid, especially, like I said, this is exactly what Peter loves to talk on and how they're the best in the field. So let me know you guys' thoughts. So as far as the data points, I'll give you guys a quick overview. So right now, we're just about to head into power hour a little bit, and there's $1.14 million in calls being purchased versus 670,000 in puts. And overall, 63% of all the options today is bullish. So behind the scenes, like I said, I do feel that a lot of people are interpreting this sell-off and back into the sixes as an overreaction. If you are looking at one of these kind of grids right here that shows all the strike prices, expiry dates, it is anticipated to go back to roughly around the 7 to 750 next week. But when it comes down to options activity, it is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price. But because of the dip that happened first thing, it looks like big money very much bought it. And this is okay as far as the overall amount of volume for, I guess, a Friday. Normally Fridays volumes are significantly lower anyways. So once again, let me know you guys' thoughts on that. This one I just wanted to point out because I know in the past several people have actually asked me to do a dedicated video just on this, comparing, for instance, Tesla at its early stages to Lucid. And I'll save you guys some time. There was this post right here. It was more oriented towards Rivian on how they're exceeding Tesla back in the day. So this shows the first through the 8th quarter of them producing any vehicles. So initially Lucid is the black right here. So initially Lucid did fairly well in comparison to Tesla. Just the 2nd quarter and onwards, Lucid has been stagnant. And I think this is one problem that a lot of people have physically had with Lucid, is just they have an amazing product, just they're not really pushing it out as much as we would like. And then obviously you get those types of investors saying that, you know what, this is sufficient, that we have a high luxury product, we're not going for quantity, we're going for quality, which is all understandable, but I feel like that's just an excuse, because based on Lucid's plan, they did plan, I believe this year was supposed to be 49,000 if I remember correctly. So once again, I do feel that Lucid definitely does need to step up their game a little bit, and with their Q2 earnings right around the corner, I think it's on August the 7th if I remember correctly, but they'll definitely have to answer a lot of the tough questions, which again I think it is on July the 24th. That's when they're actually opening up the questions. So this is one of the rare opportunities for retail investors to actually ask tough questions to management for them to answer. So again, once those are opened up, I'll be able to showcase those and let you guys know what is good and bad questions and things like that. But of course, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. When it comes down to shorts, I'll give you guys a quick overview of that. So short score is currently 74, utilization is 76.01. And looking right here, shorts are surprisingly returning 687,000 shares, which once again, if you kind of piece all of this together, it does validate that this sell-off is an overreaction. So a lot of the data points that is all coming out today is all pointing to this being a overreaction. 21% of the free float is being shorted, 171.75 million shares overall are being shorted, and cost to borrow, the average is 1.03%. So that is just complete pennies. So when it comes down to it though, as you can see based on the momentum indicator, number of retail investors are kind of flat today. Stochastic, there is a bearish sentiment, but it is currently at 25. So if it does continue on its trajectory at least, then it'll be considered a little bit more oversold. So it might have a good value rally, especially leading into the earnings. But a lot of people want to know, where is this going next? So with it currently at $6.86 right here, it is between this S1 and the pivot. So kind of funny enough, it actually almost touched both of these points today alone. So between this S1 and the pivot, so $6.60 is that very strong support, and $7.25 is that next big resistance. But like I said, I do feel that based on the likelihood, it most likely will test this next, so the $7.25, and break above it, because even myself, Tesla earnings, the numbers were pretty good. Just a lot of people are just kind of trying to purposefully tear it apart a little bit more unjustifiably, in my own opinion, based on that. Latest round of 13Fs, as you can see, is right here, and it's kind of mixed all over the place. So you see some institutions increasing pretty significantly, you see some reducing some, but at the end of the day, the bigger players I believe are in the first week of August. So that's where BlackRock, for instance, the PIF, a lot of the bigger players will disclose their positions to the SEC. So let me know you guys' thoughts on all of this in the comments below. What is your take on Lucid? Are you buying? Are you selling? What is your take? And what's your take on, for instance, the upcoming Q2 earnings? Do you think that's going to be good, bad? What's your guys' overview? My thoughts on that, I think earnings per share will be a little bit lower than the estimates, largely because of a lot of the international shipments going to be very costly and resulting in a little bit lower on a earnings per share. But revenue, I feel like, is going to come in line with the recent analyst estimates that I did cover on my last video. So once again, let me know you guys' thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And don't forget to take advantage of this promo, link in the description below and also the comments. It's free to open up an account with Moomoo, plus they offer free level 2 trading and $0 commission. If you throw $100 at the account, you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000 plus a $50 cash reward. So this is literally no brainer. Take advantage of that while you can. Link in the description below and also the comments. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.